So tell me a little about yourself and your work here at the V&A.
Well, I'm here for 6 months as the artist in residence in the ceramics galleries, and I think what I'm interested in a number of things. I'm interested in how museums work and operate, and quite often my practice is about bringing disparate objects together.
Second question is, can you tell me about Stoke-on-Trent and why it was the center of pottery during the 20th century?
My understanding is it's based very much on the land there.
Yeah.
Both the materials, the coal for firing furnaces was there,
yes,
and also the clay was there,
yeah,
and water and canals, I think, were there. So transport, kind of, it worked on a lot of different levels. So it was, rather than any idea of this would be a great place to make ceramics, culturally, geographically, it made absolute sense for it to be based there.
Okay. What do you know about Clarice Cliff?
She's certainly one of those names that constantly crops up amongst collectors, and her visual style is incredibly distinctive. She seems to be one of those Marmite artists that you either adore her or you just can't really get a taste for her work. But interesting that she, for whatever reason, her brand identity is so strong that she's incredibly well known. And an interesting counterpoint maybe to Spode, which was pretty much billed its production as industrial production, whereas Clarice's work, although it was industrially produced, was very much linked to her as a personality and its identity.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
First World War did to this factory, when many men from here went off to fight, and of course the skilled work in this factory was done by men. So when the men went to war, women, more and more women had to take on the roles that the men had done previously, and I think it was pretty well 100% men who were the skilled artists. And because those men were in short supply, women had to be trained up to do the work that the men had been doing. And to make it easier for the unskilled women to take on painting jobs, they started to print the outline on a vase, just print the outline, and leave the women artists to fill in the segments of it, rather than to freehand paint the whole thing. The First World War had quite an impact on this factory, and led to lots of social changes in this country following the end of the war.
Something about Clarice Cliff. Can you tell me about her?
Well, all I know about Clarice Cliff, and I have met her.
Have you met her?
I met her.
Wow.
When I went to the art school, we used to have to exhibit something, and Clarice Cliff and all the designers came along. And I said, oh, I don't like this painting, what she does. It's like little children do. But the chap who took me along, who was a student with me, he said she worked for Wilshire and Robinson, and their wear wasn't good. And so she had this technique to cover it all over with paint, and it was underglazed paint, not overglazed paint. And that's how she came to do it all. But she did it all in these like very low colours, and I could have bought some of this wear, but because he told me at art schools it was rubbish and it wouldn't be worth anything, I never bought. You could buy something for 1 and 6p, which that's in old money, you know. I was crazy really to think all that. There was another one called Charlotte Reed, and the principal of the art school told me, he said, Pauline, Charlotte Reed has pinched one of your patterns. She must have taken a... But you see, we took no patent out on it. It was an exhibition.
Yeah.
And I used to have this plate, but I gave it to somebody who made a pie on it and broke it.
Wow.
But I'm talking about in the 1950s.
Yeah.
It was very simple sort of art. They did like brush strokes and leaves and things like that. Well, Clarice Cliff was one like a bit further. She did it underglaze.
Underglaze.
And it was like watercolours underglazed, and then they glazed it afterwards. But she did it to cover up faults, so I was told. I don't know whether that was true or not. If you painted on a biscuit plate with watercolours, you could do the brush strokes and things like that. Well, you'd probably drawn a little bit. You'd drawn a little house, and in fact, if I'd have known you were coming today, I started to do one. She sort of did these like that, round, made a tree like that, and then like did a bunch of little flowers thing like that round there to somewhere else, and then another little house at the top.
Yes, I will do that.
But she was a character. She really was. She came very flamboyant. She was, you know. She came in all the designs that dressed a bit over the top.
In the potteries, at the moment, there has been an improvement. Many of the factories here have expanded production, they are more profitable than they used to be, and we are optimistic, I'm optimistic anyway, about the future of the pottery industry here. We've obviously got to become very efficient, we've got to produce the patterns and the designs that people want to buy, and we've got to be ahead of the game, and to think of new ideas. Personally, I'm optimistic that the pottery industry is going to continue to thrive.